Hello students, how are you all? Hope you are doing good at home. Today I have come up with a new topic, carbon and its compounds. This is very useful chapter in the exam point of view as well as for your information and knowledge, because this carbon is so versatile that it can form millions of compounds, and the study of all these compounds is known as organic chemistry. Now let's get started. Carbon belongs to fourth group of the periodic table. It has 4 electrons in its outermost orbit, so its valency is 4. Carbon is a non-metal. So here you can see in this corner that the fourth year group elements are carbon, silicon, germanium, tin and lead. So along with this, the other element, fluorovium, is also present, but since it lies in the seventh period and it is incomplete, these are the elements that are shown now. So here, of these fourth year group elements, carbon is in its first position. Here, the element carbon has the atomic number 6 and its electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p2. So here, the first orbit and the second s orbit are completely filled, whereas 2p2, the p orbital, is incompletely filled. So here since it's not completely filled, the electrons that are present in the outermost orbit are 4 electrons, 2s2 and 2p2. So we can say that the valency of carbon is 4 and hence it belongs to fourth year group element. And it is a non-metal, as you have studied in the previous chapter, metals and non-metals. So carbon is a non-metal. And here you can see the atomic structure of it. The next is about occurrence of carbon, means where can we find this carbon element. It is found in the atmosphere, in the Earth's crust and in all living organisms. Carbon can be found in the atmosphere in the form of carbon dioxide, and it is also present. It is also present in the Earth's crust and in all the living organisms. Carbon is present in fuels like wood, coal, charcoal, coke, petroleum, natural gas, biogas, marsh gas, etc. Carbon is present in compounds like carbonates, hydrogen carbonates, etc. So here you can find that carbon can exist in the atmosphere and in the Earth's crust also, and it is also found in all the living organisms, due to which all these compounds of carbon are known as organic compounds. It is also present in the fuels like wood, coal, charcoal, coke, petroleum, natural gas, biogas and marsh gas. It is present in the compounds like carbonate. All the compounds that are formed with carbon and oxygen are known as carbonates, and the compounds that are formed with carbon and hydrogen along with the other elements, they are known as compounds of hydrogen carbonates. The next, carbon is found in the free state as diamond, graphite and fullerences. So here in the previous compounds, as you have said, carbonates, hydrogen carbonates, in them also carbon is present, but in free state as a carbon it exists as diamond, graphite and fullerences. The next is about bonding in carbon covalent bond. So here, bonding of carbon. How does the carbon atom can combine with the other elements and what type of bond is formed? Let's see. The atomic number of carbon is 6. Its electronic arrangement is 2,4, that is 1s2, 2s2, 2p2. Hence it has 4 valence electrons. So to attain stability, it can gain 4 electrons or losing 4 electrons or sharing 4 electrons with other atom. So here to get stability. The atomic number of carbon is 6, and to get stability it requires 4 more electrons so that it can reach to the electronic configuration of neon, whose atomic number is 10. But here the possibility to gain 4 electrons is not easy. It requires higher amount of energy for the carbon atom to attain 4 electrons, and at the same time after attaining it is difficult for the nucleus of carbon with 6 electrons to hold 10 electrons which are gained. 6 already existing and 4 more that are gained by the carbon atom. So hence gaining of 4 more electrons is not easy. And at the same time losing of 4 electrons is also not possible, because in case if it loses 4 electrons, 6 minus 4 is equal to 2. So it can attain the electronic configuration of helium. But in this case also it's not easy to lose the electrons. It requires higher amounts of energy for carbon atom to lose the 4 electrons. Hence, this carbon has a facility, can take the facility of sharing the electrons. So, the options for a carbon atom is either to gain 4 electrons or to lose 4 electrons, or else sharing these 4 electrons with the other atom. It does not gain 4 electrons because it's difficult for the 6 protons to hold 10 electrons. And at the same time it does not lose 4 electrons because it needs larger amount of energy to lose the 4 electrons. So it tries to share 4 electrons with the other atom to attain stability, resulting in the formation of covalent bonds. So here you must remember that carbon atom cannot lose 4 electrons or gain 4 electrons. Hence, it tries to share 4 electrons, resulting in the formation of covalent bond. Hence, it is ready to share the electrons and forming a bond. The bond that is formed by sharing of electrons is known as covalent bond. So, here carbon can form 4 covalent bonds. And since carbon atom needs 4 electrons to attain stability, its valency is 4. So we say that carbon needs 4 more electrons to get stability. And hence its valency is 4, that is tetravalent. And it is tetravalent atom. So here you can see that the outermost electrons, 4 electrons are present, and it is ready to share these electrons with the other atom and can form a bond, and the bond is represented like a line hyphen. So remember that the bonding in carbon always results in covalent bond. Now let's see how the formation of covalent bond takes place. So depending on the bond that is formed with the other atom, this bond and number of bonds changes. How does this change? Let's see. Covalent bond is a chemical bond formed by sharing of electrons between atoms. So before getting into the formation of um, carbon covalent bonds, what is a covalent bond? Let's see. Covalent bond is a chemical bond that is formed by the sharing of electrons between atoms. We have learnt in the previous chapter that ionic compounds are formed by transfer of electrons, whereas covalent bond is formed by sharing of electrons. This I have explained you in brief in the previous chapter. So here the sharing of one pair of electrons results in the formation of a single covalent bond. A sharing of two pairs of electrons results in the formation of double covalent bond, and three pairs of electrons results in the formation of triple covalent bond. So here a covalent bond is formed that That is formed by sharing of the electrons. So you should remember that a covalent bond can be formed by sharing of electrons. And if this sharing is one pair of electron, then it is known as a single covalent bond. If it shares two pairs of electron, then a double covalent bond is formed. Suppose if it shares three pairs of electrons, then it results in the formation of triple covalent bond. Now let's see an example in the formation of single covalent bond for hydrogen atom. Hydrogen atomic number is 1. Its electronic configuration is 1s1. So it needs one more electron to attain stability. So two hydrogen atoms share one pair of electrons and they result in the formation of a single covalent bond, which is H2. The molecule that is formed in this bond formation is H2. Now let's see how this bond has formed. So here you can see that a hydrogen atom with one electron will combine with another hydrogen atom with one electron. These two atoms, when they combine, they share the pair of electron that is formed here. And this results in the formation of a bond which is known as single covalent bond. That's what you can see here. The line between two hydrogen atoms represents a bond. So here a single covalent bond is formed between these two atoms, and this bond results in the formation of hydrogen molecule. Okay, each hydrogen atom with one electron combine together and share this pair of electron, resulting in a single bond formation, and this forms hydrogen molecule. So for single covalent bond example, we can give hydrogen is a molecule that is formed by single covalent bond formation. Hydrogen, fluorine, all these are examples of single bond molecules. Now let's see the formation of double covalent bond, and the example for this is oxygen molecule, that is O2. The atomic number of oxygen is 8 and its electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p4. So here in the second orbit 6 electrons are present, that is 2s2 and 2p4, 2 plus 4 6. So here the electronic configuration is represented as 2 6. It has 6 valence electrons. It needs 2 electrons to attain stability. So two oxygen atoms share 2 pairs of electrons, resulting in the formation of a double covalent bond in oxygen molecule. So here you can see that in the second orbit 2s2 and 2p4 electrons, they are represented in this way. So these valence electrons of oxygen atom can combine with another oxygen atom. So here two oxygen atoms will combine together and the shared pair of electrons. So here you can see that there is a one pair of electron and the another pair of electron from other oxygen atom will combine, results in the formation of double covalent bond, which is represented by two lines. So here you can see that between these two oxygen atoms, double lines are drawn. That shows that double bond is formed between these two oxygen atoms and it results in the formation of oxygen molecule O2. So in this way, oxygen molecule is an example for the formation of double covalent bond. So remember that hydrogen molecule is an example for single covalent bond, and in oxygen molecule double covalent bond is formed. Now let's see how the triple covalent bond is formed, and the example for this is nitrogen. Nitrogen molecule formation is the best example to explain triple covalent bond. The atomic number of nitrogen is 7 and its electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. It has 5 valence electrons. It needs 3 more electrons. So here the p orbital is half filled, 2p3. So it needs 3 more electrons to attain stability. So two nitrogen atoms share 3 pairs of electrons, and this results in the formation of triple covalent bond, which is represented as 3 lines between the two nitrogen atoms. And this results in the formation of nitrogen molecule N2. So remember that triple bond is formed, triple covalent bond is formed in nitrogen molecule, and double covalent bond is formed in oxygen molecule. Single covalent bond is formed in hydrogen molecule. Now you must be thinking why madam is explaining about covalent bonds when the topic is about carbon compounds. So here the element carbon can form covalent bond. So my concern is that it's not only the carbon that can form covalent bond. There are other elements. Along with carbon, few elements can also combine covalent bond, and this causes the other atoms, the similar atoms, to combine with carbon. So here you can see that oxygen is forming covalent bond, hydrogen is forming covalent bond, nitrogen is also forming covalent bond, which means that all these atoms or all these elements are ready to form a covalent bond even with carbon. That's the reason we are trying to get the type of bonds that are formed in these molecules. Okay, so hence remember that hydrogen is forming single covalent bond, oxygen is forming double covalent bond, nitrogen triple covalent bond. So here it is represented in dot electron formula. So here two hydrogen atoms are combining together, resulting a new pair of electron that is shared by both the hydrogen atoms. Similarly, two fluorine atoms, fluorine whose atomic number is 9, is also having one electron it needs to get stability so that it attains the electronic configuration of neon. So hence this can be attained by sharing of a pair of electrons between the two fluorine atoms. Then next is carbon dioxide molecule. How the carbon dioxide molecule has formed. So here you can see that, as I said, since oxygen is ready to form a covalent bond with carbon, it readily combines with carbon molecule and form carbon dioxide molecule. So here you can see that two oxygen atoms will combine with carbon atom. Hence, it can form carbon dioxide. Since carbon has valency 4, as it is tetravalent atom, it needs 4 electrons, and oxygen is divalent, means it needs only 2 electrons. But here, to satisfy the valency of carbon, 2 oxygen atoms will combine with carbon so that 4 electrons can be shared by oxygen, 2 oxygen atoms, to a single carbon atom, and this results in the formation of carbon dioxide. So here you can see that a single carbon and 2 oxygen atoms, one on either side of carbon, are sharing 2 pairs of electrons, and this results in the formation of double bond on one side, another double bond, results carbon dioxide molecule. The next is about carbon tetrafluoride, means CF4. You all know that carbon is tetravalent, means it needs 4 electrons, 4 more electrons to attain stability, and fluorine can give only 1 electron. So here 4 fluorine atoms will combine with single carbon atom so that carbon can have 4 pairs of electrons to share, and this results in the formation of carbon tetrafluoride. So in this way, carbon tetrafluoride is formed. This is the reason to study about the formation of oxygen molecule, fluorine molecule, nitrogen molecule, all this. So all the elements that are ready to form covalent bond can combine with carbon atom mostly, and the compounds that are formed with carbon are so huge in number that the study of all these compounds is not easy. Hence, they are categorized depending on the elements present in them as hydrogen carbonates, and hence the study of all these is known as organic chemistry. Just imagine, in the branch of chemistry, all the compounds of carbon are taken under one branch. So a separate branch is allotted for compounds of carbon, which is known as organic chemistry. So you'll be learning more about carbon compounds in your further higher classes. And in this chapter, you're going to learn about carbon's general compounds that are formed with the carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, and naming of these compounds. Okay, let's move ahead. Now, compounds of carbon are widely distributed in nature. The number of carbon compounds is larger than that of all other elements put together. See here, all the other elements, as you know that more than 100, 118 elements exist. Of all those elements, the number of carbon compounds that are formed with carbon alone are so huge that they are put together under one branch as organic chemistry. So here you can see that the compounds of carbon in different materials like in medicines and tapes, gas as a fuel, cotton, then wood, plastics, and in plants. In all these, carbon is present. So, of all the materials that we use in our daily life, mostly like the food we take, that are mostly essential like proteins, contains carbon. Then food, that is proteins contains carbon, and then next clothes contains carbon, and then the materials that we use like a book, a pencil that we use contains lead. It is also a form of carbon, and then the medicines that we take are also of carbon. Plastics are also made of carbon. So it's so widely used in all the ways, and hence it's distributed as a separate branch in the chemistry. Now let's try to understand how so many carbon compounds exist in nature. So here the reason gives us the explanation of existence of different number of millions of carbon compounds. That is, the first reason is it's chemically unique in nature. How it is chemically unique is only the carbon atoms have the ability to combine with themselves to form long chains. So here you can see that carbon atom is combining with other carbon atoms and forming long chain of carbon compound. So here carbon has a unique chemical nature. So the main point that you should know under carbon is chemical property of carbon. The chemical nature of carbon is so unique that it can combine with itself to form long chain of carbons, and these formed long chain of carbon can be a straight chain or a broken chain also. So here you can see straight chain. It's a straight. All the carbon atoms are connected to one to another in a straight chain. So this is one example of straight chain of carbon compounds. The second one, see, even this is also a carbon compound, but here the chain is broken here. So it can either form a straight chain of carbon or a broken chain of carbon. And the chemical nature of carbon is so versatile that it can combine with number of atoms like hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, and can form huge number of compounds. And the next behavior, chemical behavior of carbon, that to combine with itself is versatile such that it leads to the formation of millions of carbon compounds. So remember that carbon is versatile in nature. Versatile means to have multiple nature, that is to form as a straight chain of carbon or a broken chain of carbon, and to exist in different forms of carbon. All this are the unique nature of carbon, due to which it can form millions of compounds, which makes it unique from the other elements. Okay, so here you can see that the straight chain of carbon compound with how many carbons? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 carbon atoms. So this is a straight chain of carbon compound, whereas this one is a broken chain of compound. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So here this is also a carbon compound but broken. And here closed structure of carbon. Single carbon atom but forming a bond with hydrogen and forming a compound. So the versatile nature you can see here. It is forming a straight chain, broken chain and ring structure also, due to which millions of compounds are formed with the carbon. So remember that carbon has versatile nature and it is chemically unique. Now, the long chains of carbon. The long chain forms that are formed in turn provides a convenient backbone of atoms to which other atoms can attach themselves in a variety of ways. So here you can see that the white uh, spherical shaped structures are carbon atoms, and the other atoms are connected to it. It can be hydrogen, oxygen or anything, and the black line represents the bond between the atoms. So here carbon and carbon, a bond is formed, and the tetravalency of carbon is satisfied with other hydrogen, 3 hydrogen atoms. In this way, the tetravalency of carbon is satisfied for the first carbon. If you take the second carbon, here this is the carbon and it is combining with two other other carbon atoms. All the white ones are carbons. So here the middle carbon is combining with the two other carbons. So here 2 is valency, 2 is satisfied, and to get the tetravalency it combines with 2 hydrogen atoms so that 4 bonds are formed, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So in this way each carbon atom will satisfy its tetravalency, and this results in the formation of a long chain of carbon compound. And this long chain of carbon compound is a backbone. So here you can see that this long chain is like a bone to which the other compounds or the atoms are connected. Here you can see that to this chain another carbon CH3 is connected, even here also. So the long chain of carbon which is formed lies as a backbone. The next is about allotropy of carbon. What is this allotropy? As you have learned that carbon has a versatile nature chemically as well as physically also. Now, allotropy means the property of an element to exist in two or more physical forms having similar chemical properties but different physical properties is called allotropy. So here, allotropy means the property of an element. It can be any element, but this element if it exists in two or more physical forms with similar chemical properties but different physical properties is called allotropy. For example, if carbon has allotropic nature, then it can exist in two or more different forms. Like as you see water, physically it will exist as ice cube, a water in liquid state, and vapors in gaseous state. So here these are the different physical forms of water. The same way, if an element can exist in two or more physical forms having the more or less means almost the similar chemical properties but existing with different physical properties is called allotropy. So what is allotropy means the property of an element to exist in two or more physical forms means the element carbon can exist in two or more different physical forms and all the physical forms of carbon will have similar chemical properties. Only the physical properties of them changes. Then it is known as allotropic nature of carbon. And all the forms of the element are known as allotropes. Once again I repeat what is allotropy. Allotropy means the property of an element to exist in two or more physical forms having similar chemical properties but different physical properties is called allotropy. Just remember that allotropic nature means element to exist in different forms and these forms are different. Only physically they are different but chemically they are same. That's it. The different forms of an element are known as allotropes. These different forms of an element are known as allotropes and the nature of an element to exhibit different forms is known as allotropy. These are formed due to difference in the arrangement of atoms in the molecule. How the allotropes have formed is due to the difference in the arrangement of them when they are forming the molecule. The different allotropes of carbon are two. They are amorphous form and crystalline form. What are amorphous forms? Means the form of the element without any definite shape is known as amorphous form. Whereas crystalline means they have a definite shape of a crystal and hence they are known as crystalline forms of carbon. And the amorphous forms of carbon are coal, coke, wood charcoal, animal charcoal, lamp black, gas carbon, petroleum coke, sugar charcoal, etc. So here animal charcoal, you have heard the words coal, coke, wood charcoal means wood. By burning the wood, coal that is formed is known as wood charcoal. And then animal charcoal. So animal charcoal is a coal that is formed by burning, that is by calcining bones of animals is known as animal charcoal. Then lamp black means the black colored pigment that is formed or that is taken from soot. And soot means here the smoky material which has got stuck to the chimney. In the olden days when there is no electricity they used to use hurricane lamp. So here to those chimneys the black colored soot that is formed and from that soot the black colored pigment that is known as lamp black and hence this is known as a lamp black. And nowadays the lamp black is used generally this lamp black is used as for pigmenting and now this black pigment is used in ceramics, cements and to prepare crayons, shoe polishes, etc. And many uses are there with the lamp black. Then gas, carbon, petroleum, you have heard all these names, sugar, charcoal. All these are different forms of amorphous forms of carbon. Next, crystalline form means which exist as a definite crystal. Carbon in solid phase can exist in three allotropic forms and they are diamond, graphite and Buckminster fullerenes. So these are the three different forms of crystalline forms of carbon. Diamond, as you have heard, very well, very known, very costliest material, the costliest gem. Then next, graphite, which is in the pencil. And then next, Buckminster fullerenes. So here the three crystalline forms of carbon are diamond, graphite and Buckminster fullerenes. So due to this uh, unique nature of carbon, that is the unique nature is its versatility to behave in different ways chemically. That is to form a long chain of carbon or a broken chain of carbon, and to have different allotropes is its versatility. And here when a carbon is forming a straight chain of carbon, it is known as catenation. You have seen in the previous slide, long chain of carbon compound has formed. So here the property of an element, the carbon atom, to form long chain of compound is known as catenation. It can also form broken chain of compound, and a ring structure also can be formed. It can also exhibit in two allotropic forms as amorphous and crystalline. Again, these amorphous and crystallines are of different types, as you can see here. And I'm going to explain the three crystalline forms of carbon in the next class. Thank you.